Good evening, I'm Nancy Dodge from YB Stamp, and welcome to the monthly mystery card class where we go through the clues and assemble a card. I hope you've had a chance to gather your supplies. I know some of you actually watch and then gather your supplies at a later date. It's easier sometimes to see how things are put together. But I kind of enjoy going through the clues with you. So, and I hope that you will also post the cards that you've done because I really like to see them. My scissors just decide to have a mind of their own. All right, let's go to clue number 1. Clue number 1, burnish the score lines. All right, I've got my desk view. I've got my stamps and all my supplies, and I'm going to burnish my score lines. I've got my bone folder. Look, I've had it for so long you can't even see the Stampin' Up! Logo anymore. All right, so this one is here and here. And then this one, hey Carol, you can't see? Oh, see, I did it again. Good thing you're here to catch me. So I scored these. That's because I've been asked to make, when I actually do the clue, bigger. So this is, so it's new to me. I just have to be better about it. So I'm burnishing my score lines. There we go. Thank you, Carol. All right. Clue number 2. Adhere the back of the 11 by 4 1/4, which was the first one I burnished, to the inside of the 11 by 5 1/2. So that's this. And I just put a new one in, so I got my Stampin' Seal. Take the lid off. And I'm going to go around the edges. So this is Calypso Coral cardstock. And I'm going to adhere it to the inside. Just make sure everything folds up. There we go. Whoops, I did it again, didn't I? Sorry. So I put a seal on the back of this piece and opened this up and stuck it inside. Yeah. My husband's watching something on his Kindle, a movie or something, and sorry about that. That's his fault. Okay, so that's clue number 2. Let's go on to clue number 3. Adhere 4-inch by 2.5-inch pieces to left and right flaps, inside and out. All right. So I have my flap pieces. So I have 2 that are lighter and 2 that are darker. So I'm going to put the lighter ones on the inside and the darker ones on the outside. I hope you have me back, Carol. I did notice that the signal was lost for a minute. Thanks to Gregory. All right. So there's the right inside. Now, this just happens to be monochromatic, but you can pick any paper and stamp set, actually. And then the outside. So you could theoretically have these totally 2 different designer series paper as long as the outside ones were the same and the inside ones were the same. Okay. Well, we're adhering on clue number 3, so I just want to kind of center it on that flap. It can kind of go in any direction you want if the design doesn't call for that. But when you are cutting your designer series paper, make sure it's not directionally sensitive. Is that such a word? A phrase? Well, guess what? It is now because I just made it one. Alright, so there's clue number 3. Clue number 4. Adhere 5 1/4 by 4-inch pieces to the inside and outside of bottom flap. So, here's the inside. One darker than the other. I don't know. They're pretty much the same, aren't they? So I'm going to do the inside. Alright. And adhere it. And then the outside. So if you were using a directionally designer series paper, you want to make sure that you put it this way as opposed to this way. So if you flipped it over to do it and put it this way, it would be upside down. So make sure you do it so that the inside of the card is facing up. Alright. That's alright, Vic. Carol's just watching too. Alright, I'm going to try to line up the DSP as best I can. So, there we go. Okay, so now it's lined up on the bottom. Excuse me. Alright, clue number 5. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Adhere the 5 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch pieces to the outside, inside and outside of top flap. Alright, so that's here. And again, make sure that it's directionally put the right way. I was doing some post-it note, decorative post-it notes, and the piece did this, where it was going around like this. So every DSP that I used couldn't have a direction to it, because otherwise it was good here, but it was upside down on the back. Okay, but this one doesn't matter too much. Alright, there's the inside. I flipped it over, but like I said, make sure you do the correct direction if that's what you're doing. Alright. On to clue number 6. Stamp 4 pieces. Uh-oh, I only have 2. Where's the other 2? Oh, 3. Did I lose one? I did, didn't I? Where did I lose it? Retro Roach. Is it the same height? It is, so I'm going to quick cut it. I don't know where the other piece went. That's sad. Alright. So, I only found that I have 3 pieces of these. I lost one. So I need 1.5 inches. There I go. Now I have a fourth piece. Oops. Alright, I'm going to stick this aside, pull out my 4 pieces, and stamps. So I've got my blocks, and I got some Calypso Coral ink. How are the white pieces oriented? Well, if you use white, it goes in the portrait position, like that. So I'm going to stamp. I figured these were pretty much up and down. Make sure I got plenty of ink. Ah, number 1 is good. I'm going to pull out my Stampin' Scrub. I love this little tool. This it's like, you know, the painter's roll, and I have this Stampin' Mist I just spray. So this side, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little raindrops in there. And on this side is the sun, so you know that this side is wet and this side is dry. So I'm just going to quick wash it, all clean, dry it, all dry. Put that back in, stamp the next one, ink it up, gently tap it so I don't pull any edges. Center it. There, number 2. Now this is still wet, so I don't need to keep stamping it, or misting it, I should say. I just need to make sure that I have the raindrop side first. So, alright, I'm going to put that away. And then I've got this one, maybe. Doesn't want to come out. And you know, you don't have to use the same stamp set either if you don't want to. You can use a couple different ones as long as it's got the same theme. Alright. Ink this up. Now it's a little longer, but that's okay. I can stamp it off. Didn't even do it. Alright, clean it. I always like to clean it first and put it away so that it's ready to go, because otherwise you're stuck. Now for the last one, this is bigger than it, but no, I think I'll just use these splotches. Or maybe I'll use this again. I'll do the fern again. And then I'll just put them on different ones so it doesn't look like it's the same. Alright, I'm going to close that up. Clean it. Put it away. Alright, and then I need to adhere. So I'm going to bring my card back. I'm going to adhere 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside. So I'm going to put some Stampin' Seal on. This is a new one, so it's really stretchy. Alright, and you could do this, I'll show you some cards that I did ahead of time that use the same pattern. And I used, I can't remember if I used all white or whatever. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? Alright, and then the inside. Whoops, that was close. The card takes up a lot of room, but it's really cute. And you could always put this upside down if you want, which I almost did. Alrighty. What are we on? 7. Clue 7. Stamp cover banner with image / sentiment and adhere on the cover. In the middle if possible. Make sure you don't add adhesive to bottom half of banner. Okay. We're going to switch over. And so originally I was going to use this bigger piece, but I had to cut it for the inside. So I think I will, let me see what I have in here. I don't know if I have any of that color. This is my scraps. Well, some of my scraps. I think that's pink, yeah. That's pink. I have one that's square and one that has little pieces. So, no, that's not the right color. That's pink. It's hard to tell in my light. Sorry I'm being so... Yeah, I found a piece. Alright. All else fails, go to the scraps. Alright. So what I want to do is I actually wanted to use this one. So I gotta put it on just right. Or maybe I'll use my bigger one. That might go better. Alright. And I want to do it at an angle. So I'm going to get it all inked up. There. And then I'm going to do a sentiment right here. I'll do a heartfelt thank you. Right here. There. Close my ink. Clean my stamps. Once you get into the habit of cleaning your stamps right away, it's really not a big deal. Alright. Put these back in. Stick it aside. Alright. Now, I'm going to get my trimmer out and just cut it a bit because it's too wide. I'm actually going to trim the sides a bit too, or the top and bottom, just to make it a little smaller. I don't want to block the whole designer series paper on the front. Alright. There we go. So, this is our front. So I'm going to adhere this on the front, but don't do the bottom, otherwise you can't open the flap. So I'm going to make sure I'm doing the top. And then I'm going to center it. So there's the front of my card. Alrighty, let's see, where are we? Clue number 8. Stamp inside banner with image/sentiment and adhere to the outside of inside flap. Outside before, okay. So this is very optional at this point actually. You can stamp a sentiment and put it here. Whoops, gotta switch over, sorry. You can stamp a sentiment and put it here. Just make sure that the flap covers it. Or you can stamp a sentiment here and put it here at the bottom. So you could do one or the other. So I said a heartfelt thank you. And I don't know if I want to put anything more on it. You could. You couldn't. Whichever you want. So like I said, you could stamp a sentiment, put it here. Or you could stamp a sentiment and put it here. Just make sure that the flap covers it. Alright, let's go on to clue number 9. Stamp inside sentiment on center of card, or you can stamp it on a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of light or white cardstock and then adhere to the inside. So I have a piece of white cardstock for the inside, and I like to write a lot when I'm sending a thank you, so I'm actually not going to stamp anything, but you can. So I'm just going to adhere this to the middle. Whoops, forgot to transition again. Sorry about that. So like I said, I'm not going to stamp anything on this, but I am going to put it here so that I can write a nice thank you note. Alrighty. Clue number 10. This is easy. Embellish as desired. Alright, I have some, I forgot to pull them out, but I have a whole bunch of embellishments just to my right, and I know what I want, but let's see if I can find it. If I can't, they'll just have to add something else. But those would be pretty, huh? I actually like the copper with it. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Close my flaps all up and add a couple of these. And a big one down here. Alright. So there's my card. Now I'm going to show you some more. So that's the one I just made. The first one I made was this one. So see, I used white. And I think this paper is from Celebration last spring. And then I just put some crosses in there and some flowers. So that was the first one that I made. Then I said, oh, I should make something a little bit more masculine. So I made this one with the fish. And I think this is all still in the annual catalog. So see here, I used different designer series paper for these flaps than just the blue that I used on the other flaps. But see, the fish, I had to make sure that the fish went in the correct direction so that they wouldn't be upside down. So this was the second card I made. And then I decided to be whimsical. So I used the Taco Fiesta and the Masterfully Made paper, designer series paper. And I did stamp here, but see, I made sure that the front flap hit it. And then you open it up, and I did put one here too, but I didn't put anything in the middle. So that's my fourth card. What is the name of that fold? That's a very good question, Michelle. I don't know. I just kind of put it together seeing a bunch of different cards online. But I do have a PDF of this that I will put online tomorrow. I suppose I should give it a name, shouldn't I? I just don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've created a card along the way. If you haven't, then make one and post it so that I can see your creation, because I really love seeing them. And next Sunday I will be back at 7 p.m. again for Back to Basics. So until then, happy stamping.